would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years.
Be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right?
Now
so
he's
it goes
going
to 54, and now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
Do you think Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, I think he can win.
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to win, but I think he can win.
Max Kellerman recently joined Joe Rogan and made a bold prediction for the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. His take surprised many, going against the consensus in boxing circles. Famous for spotting hidden trends others miss, the veteran analyst argued this fight could reshape both fighters' legacies and determine the sport's true pound-for-pound king. Kellerman praised Canelo's proven power and vast experience at the elite level, but then shifted toward Crawford's adaptability and ring IQ. While acknowledging Canelo's dominance in recent years, he emphasized that Crawford's mid-fight adjustments and ability to dismantle opponents piece by piece may ultimately be the deciding factor.
Definitely. Okay, so then a little bit of this and that between Canelo and Crawford. I'll give you a list of attributes, and then tell me who do you feel is best in that attribute. First attribute, best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But, early in his career, he had a problem with that and was much more comfortable counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guay.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned Canelo's power. So who, I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter, and I would assume he could maintain that advantage going into this fight.
Last attribute, ring IQ.
They both have sky-high ring IQs. If I have to, Crawford. If you ask me again, there's a reason that I think Crawford's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Kellerman is also making his return to live boxing coverage as part of Netflix's team for the Canelo vs. Crawford showdown on September 13th, 2025. It will be his first major role since leaving ESPN in 2023. He'll join John Anik and Andre Ward as an analyst, offering his trademark insight during what is expected to be one of boxing's biggest events. At the announcement, Kellerman called the matchup a perfect storm and went further by naming Crawford, not Canelo, as the current pound-for-pound number one. He admitted Canelo once held that honor, but made clear that Crawford has since claimed the throne.
I want to bring up the first member of our broadcast team.
He is the best boxing analyst in the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Kellerman.
All right, so I know you guys are excited about this fight, but I don't think you understand what a big deal it is. This is a perfect storm. First of all, Turki Al-Sheikh, we're lucky he happens to be a boxing fan. None of this happens if he doesn't happen to be a boxing fan. It's just none of us are here. Nick Khan, the best in the business. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. And it's his first ever boxing promotion. So that's who's behind what you're going to see. Do you know who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world? The most recent one. Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound for pound. Who was the best pound for pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound for pound fighters in the world. There haven't been that many. Before Canelo, who do you have? Before Canelo, Floyd or Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Before, you could take the lineage back. There have only been, 25 or 30 fighters who ever lived who you said that's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. These are two of them, the last two. And they're going to fight in Las Vegas on September 13th. Canelo is 62-2 with 2 draws, 62-2-2. So was Marvin Hagler when Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight him, and they produced one of the biggest spectacles in the history of boxing. This fight is a perfect storm. I could not be more excited to be a part of it.
Joe Rogan has also openly sided with Crawford. He points to Crawford's versatility and fight IQ as major advantages over Canelo. Rogan believes Alvarez is slowed with age, relying more on single heavy shots rather than his pass-fluid combinations. In contrast, he calls Crawford one of the best switch hitters since Marvin Hagler, equally effective in orthodox and southpaw. On his podcast, Rogan debated Jim Lampley about Crawford's chances. Rogan leaned on Crawford's precision, intelligence, and improved size after bulking up, suggesting he could outbox Canelo. Lampley, however, took a different angle, praising Crawford's skills but putting his faith in Canelo's power, counterpunching, and iron chin, while noting his leg strength might limit Crawford's attack.
What about
get away?
Crawford and Canelo?
What do you think of that?
Personally, I'm a big Crawford fan, so I'm going to lean his way. My only concern is just the size. It didn't look like Terence's power transferred in the last fight, so
With
now it's coming up some more. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem with that is Majumav's really good.
Yeah,
he's really fucking
good.
good.
But I just think Crawford is. It's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47, right?
Now
so it
he's
goes
going
to 54, and now he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite. They claim he's walking around like $190 or something, and you do know he's a wrestler.
In a separate interview, Lampley doubled down on picking Canelo to defeat Crawford. While recognizing Crawford as the most complete fighter in the sport today, he stressed that size, weight, and experience will dictate the outcome. Canelo, he argued, is naturally stronger at 168 pounds and far more familiar with high-stakes fights. For Lampley, these factors give Canelo the physical edge needed to overcome Crawford's adaptability and skill set, tilting the matchup in his favor.
Canelo's smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo.
Hall of Fame trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas sees things differently. Though he admits Canelo Alvarez is an extraordinary fighter, he believes Terence Crawford is even more special. Atlas praises Crawford's rare mix of speed, adaptability, defensive awareness, and mental toughness. He highlights Crawford's sharp fight IQ and switch-hitting ability, describing him as a rare talent whose mindset elevates him above the rest. While acknowledging the size gap, Atlas insists Crawford's skill and determination could ultimately outweigh Canelo's physical advantage.
Maybe he's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moved up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Stephen A. Smith is also siding with Crawford, predicting he'll beat Canelo by decision. On the All the Smoke Fight podcast, Smith credited Canelo's greatness and punching power, but pointed to Crawford's speed, footwork, and technical sharpness as the difference makers. He stressed that Canelo's reliance on power shots leaves him vulnerable, arguing if you can box and move, you can beat Canelo. Although he noted Crawford hasn't fully adjusted to fighting at 168 pounds, Smith remains convinced that skill, not size, will decide the outcome.
Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life. And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Apollo couldn't do it. And lost fight number 2, trained him for fight Rocky 3, and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
Crawford's dramatic body transformation has stunned the boxing world ahead of the super fight. Moving up 14 pounds from 154 to 168, he now appears leaner, stronger, and more imposing than ever. Fans quickly reacted online, with many warning that Canelo could be in trouble. Some view the added strength as a major advantage, while others worry it could reduce Crawford's speed and endurance. Olympic bronze medalist Omari Jones praised Crawford's disciplined training, saying he gained the weight properly and looks built for the challenge. Still, critics warn that such a jump may affect stamina and explosiveness, making this a risky gamble.
I just feel like Crawford, he just has the grit, and me personally meeting Crawford several times, it's like the man is just so competitive. It's like I don't even have to say nothing to him. He'll just like, man, when we sparring, it's like his competitiveness is always gonna put him over the edge, and then he just has that I'm not gonna let you bully me, or his skill set. And it, I know they talk about Charlo when Charlo moved up, but I feel like it may be a little bit different for Canelo this time around because Crawford took the moving up in weight classes serious. He did the dieting, he did the training. So I feel like when you put in work like that, it's a win-win.
On the Joe Rogan Experience, Crawford shared details of his training program. His regimen includes running, swimming, strength drills, and plyometric exercises, each targeting different aspects of performance from cardio endurance to joint protection. Crawford emphasized the benefits of swimming, explaining it improves breathing capacity and speed recovery. He added that he keeps his weightlifting light, Around 20 pounds, prioritizing speed, flexibility, and sharpness over raw muscle mass.
Or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Some of them be hard. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. You can't replace, I would say like tech sparring and like soft sparring from, a comparison to get ready for a fight. Because you fight how you spar how you fight. And if I'm in there just doing this, catch, then when the fight come and everything is full blast, full speed, I'm not gonna be able to keep up because I didn't train that way.
Right.
I can hit the bag, I can hit the miss, all that I want, but nothing's coming back.
Right.
I'm not feeling that presence of a person pushing me, hitting me, holding me, things like that. So sparring is very important. And not saying that you have to, go hard every single time you spar, but there gotta be days where, that fighter is trying to put it on you.
Longtime analyst Al Bernstein broke down the keys to victory for both men. For Canelo, he argued the goal must be to apply pressure and set the fight's rhythm, especially in the later rounds when his strength can wear opponents down. Crawford, on the other hand, must control distance and dictate tempo through movement and ring generalship. If he can keep the fight fluid, he can limit Canelo's physical advantages. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan has admitted he's so intrigued by this fight that he plans to watch it live, calling it one of the most exciting matchups in recent memory. Still, some critics remain skeptical.
Most fans or most people would probably say Crawford, I'm guessing, because that's a big part of how he's won. And everybody feels that and rightfully so, that the way he's figured out, he's constantly changing from lefty to righty. He's a person that alters his attack. Sometimes he's a boxer. Sometimes he's walking people down. Canelo's style is more the same in most fights. He is a counterpuncher who's waiting for you to make your move so he can counterpunch you. Then when he has you in trouble, he's willing to move forward. His attack is a pretty straightforward one. On the face of it, you might say Crawford, but I think the thing about Canelo Alvarez is that he has seen every style that you can see.
Juan Manuel Marquez, for example, has dismissed the matchup entirely, saying he doesn't like it. He argues that weight divisions exist for a reason, and Crawford's leap from 154 to 168 makes little sense. Marquez recalled Crawford's recent performance, saying he already looks slower and less powerful, and believes extra weight will only worsen those issues for Marquez. The concern isn't about Crawford's talent, but about preserving the sport's structure and logic.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has division. You know what I mean?
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right?
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes for and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimo.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and three more divisions. Two more divisions. I think it's a tough fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
So, who do you have winning Canelo with his raw strength and power, or Crawford with his sharp boxing IQ? Share your prediction in the comments below.